Welcome back, guys, to another MLB The Show 24 video. Today, we are going over Team Affinity 1, Chapter 1, and there are 30 cards, one from each team. We're going over the 10 best overall that you should be going after in Team Affinity. There's a couple things I want to clarify first. Again, these are a lot of my opinions, so if you guys like a card or like a player, go for it, go crazy. Team Affinity is way easier to grind this year than it has ever been. You can do it online, offline, and it still makes good progress. A big motivator in a lot of the positions that I have is what is important right now in the meta in terms of filling holes on rosters. This game is awesome because the power creep is back, but power creep means you're going to have a lot of positions or spots in your lineup that are just weaker in general. So let's get into the top 10. Honorable mention number 1 is going to be this Jose Abreu. I've never liked this swing, although it's not bad. It's just not my cup of tea. He does hit lefties very, very well. He's a pretty balanced first baseman and honestly one of the better right-handed ones in the game at all right now. So if you like a right-handed first baseman, this is a good option for you. Another honorable mention is going to be this Jack Flaherty. Jack is actually very, very solid. I think he's the second best starting pitcher probably you can get. The biggest issue I have with him is just that he has a knuckle curve as his third highest pitch, and the other guy on this list doesn't have a knuckle curve. If you guys don't know, knuckle curve is probably the hardest pitch to throw in this year's game. They changed its motion. It was already kind of an unusable pitch because it floated so much, and now with how difficult it is to throw, it is honestly a really big nerf. So Flaherty is an honorable mention. The last honorable mention is going to be Kevin Youkilis. He's a first baseman and third baseman. He's going to play a pretty good spot over there. Do not put him in right. Please don't. And this card is super duper balanced. Yeah, he has 46 speed. It's not super great for the outfield. It's a super balanced card though, and his 119 clutch is actually one of the highest clutches in the entire game. So just for that, he has to make the list, but I don't love his swing, so he's an honorable mention. All right, at number 10 is going to be 89 Zach Greinke. He is really similar to that Jack Flaherty. He's actually a smidge worse in terms of the overall stats, but I do think he has a much better windup that Greinke's in the past have done pretty well. His curveball is not a knuckle curve, so it's way better just by default. And he's probably the best starting pitcher in the entire mix. There weren't any, like, blow you away good ones, but he has a sinker. It's a decent arm angle, and he'll get you some innings, certainly. Number 9 on this list is going to be 89 Brian Dozier, veteran card and a new legend. Welcome back, Brian Dozier. One of the better power-hitting second basemen of the 2010s. And this card shows that. 89 power and 101. This card's honestly just very, very solid with a pretty good swing. They gave him a bunch of quirks too, like dead red and first pitch, which makes him really, really good. Second base is kind of a position of need. It's somewhere middle of the pack in terms of priority and positional value, so he's definitely on the list for that. Brian would be way better if he could play some other positions too. Unfortunately, he is pigeonholed at second base, and then for that reason, he is number 9. The next two cards in this list are completely interchangeable, but at number 8, we're going to say it's David Justice. 101-88 versus righties is fantastic. He has maxed out clutch. There's only a handful of cards in this game that have maxed out clutch, and this 89 David Justice is one of them, which is awesome. Fantastic swing as well, and a bunch of quirks, probably the most of any TA card. Just the main problem is he is a right fielder with not great speed, and he's an okay fielder. You only want him in right field. So his speed's not going to make up for what he lacks as a fielder, and his power versus left is definitely a little bit lacking, so he is going to be number 8. At number 7 is going to be Charlie Blackmon. Really similar archetype to exactly what David Justice is. This is just a way more well-rounded card. The contacts are higher in general. The power is higher in general. I think the swing is arguably better. He's a faster card, but he is a worse fielder, and he's a center fielder. So there's gives and takes for both of these cards. You're not really going to want him to start him in center field, so his defense is actually going to go down. And realistically, the best spot for Charlie is just going to be DH. He only has bad or breaking ball hitter, so he does have that against him as well. So if you think David Justice is better than Charlie, I get it. If you think Charlie's better, I get it. I think they're kind of next to each other, honestly. Charlie's a legend in this game, and he is going to be number 7. Coming in at number 6, we have 89 rookie Gary Sanchez. Unbelievable power and contact versus righties. Gary has a pretty decent swing as well. He doesn't really have any hitting quirks. That definitely is kind of tough. His swing is somewhere good. Some people really like it, some people don't. I completely get it. The reason this card is so low is because the flaws on him are pretty evident. He's really slow. His contact versus lefties is pretty much unusable. His clutch makes him almost unusable versus either side, although he's technically better versus lefties. We don't care much for catcher defense, but 52 blocking is not ideal. So although the catcher position is definitely difficult to fill right now, I do think that Gary is a fun option. However, once you get past veteran and even once you start getting into all-star, it's gonna start to struggle a little bit with him. So for that reason, Gary is number 6. Coming in at number 5 is gonna be 89 Yasmani Grandal. I wanted to have this card higher. I really do. But he doesn't make the Buxton Vision team boost, which is definitely a downside on him. His speed is actually unusable at 18. His clutch isn't crazy low or crazy high, but 66, 74, and 73 contacts and clutch respectively is way on the lower end. That'll get by on All-Star, but it's going to get tough anywhere past that, or once the pitchers start getting a little bit better. The power is great though, and he does have a fantastic switch hitting swing. He is a good defender, so I do think because of the defense and the overall equalness in terms of the contacts, he is a better card than Gary Sanchez. But there's better catchers out there in the game right now, and although some of them either cost stubs or a collection, I do think you could just do better. But if you need a catcher, this is the one from Team Affinity to get. He is number 5. Coming in at number 4, a card that when everything was revealed, I didn't think would be any type of good. But here he is. Honestly, very solid. Carlos Correa, shortstop from 2017 from the Astros. This is an all-star card. And he is super balanced on offense with a really high ceiling on contact versus left. Fantastic defender as well. 80 defense, 85 arm at shortstop. It sucks that he can't play another infield position, but shortstop is definitely very thin right now. Carlos Correa is going to play a great shortstop. 64 speed is definitely good enough at this point in the game. And they changed the swing, and he has a very good swing at this point. So for a really good position like shortstop that definitely needs some filling, this is definitely an option you guys should be looking at. Carlos is number 4. Coming in at number 3 is surprisingly the best hitter in this entire drop for Team Affinity, and is 89 Giancarlo Stanton. Giancarlo is easily the best overall hitter in this entire drop, with really good power, great contact versus left, pretty solid versus right, and his clutch is high enough to outclass a lot of other guys in this drop. 79 fielding for a Stanton is very good, and 77 reaction is actually awesome. 62 speed isn't half bad for a Stanton as well, and he does get the Buxton boost. I haven't talked too much about captains in this video, but it's important for Stanton because if you're using the Buxton boost, he actually winds up getting to be able to go up to another tier defensively, and he winds up with around almost 70 speed. So this actually becomes a very good defensive outfielder once you get some parallels and the Buxton boost. And of course, his power is going to move up as well. So the offensive stats are through the roof, and he winds up being almost a 5-tool player. Stanton's swing is very good. However, he is tall, and some people don't like his stance, and I completely understand that if you don't. But to me, I think he's very clearly the best hitter in Team Affinity. Coming in at number 2, a relief pitcher. Relief pitching is in dire need of some help. There are a couple of relievers I didn't put on this list. It's mostly because I just don't think their stats or pitch mix is anywhere near good enough. Billy Wagner, second half from 2005. Billy Wagner is definitely good enough. He does not have outlier like Billy Wagner's typically do, but it's an 89, so it kind of makes a little bit of sense. Left-handed reliever. Fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. And let me show you real quick. I keep forgetting to switch this back for the pitchers. There's his pitch mix right there. 116 hit per 9, 125 pitcher clutch, 88K, 73 BB9. This is a super duper solid card right now. But Billy Wagner's always one of the harder lefties in the game. People struggle against him sometimes, and I think this card is no different. Billy's going to be awesome. He's one of the handful of great left-handed relievers we have right now, and one of the handful of lefty diamonds we have right now. And for that, he is number 2. And coming in at number 1 is the surprise of the list, at least for me, before I started looking at all these cards. 89 Jose Leclerc. Jose Leclerc, closer breakout card from 2018 for the Rangers. He has 121 hit per 9, 103 K per 9, and his pitching clutch is honestly fine as well at 98. I will say the pitching clutch being so much lower than the hit per 9 is a little worrisome for me. However, the hit per 9 by itself is one of the best for a reliever in the entire game right now. And if I'm not mistaken, it actually is the best in the game right now for any reliever. So Jose Leclerc, 4-seam slider, circle change, curveball, and a sinker. Having a sinker is awesome. Very, very nice. It doesn't move the best. It's definitely not the best control either, but it still is a sinker nonetheless. And to have the hits per 9 with a great pitch mix like this, and he throws decently hard at 96 miles an hour. I think this Leclerc's going to be awesome. And again, one of the bigger surprises of Team Affinity. And that's going to do it, everybody. Those are the 10 best cards in Team Affinity 1, Chapter 1. Let me know what you guys think down below. Again, a lot of these cards are awesome, and some of them aren't even on the list that I have on my personal team. That's just how it goes. Sometimes there's preferences or non-preferences. And I hope you guys are enjoying MLB 24 so far. Make sure you guys like and comment down below and are subbed for more great lists like this that'll help you make your team as good as you possibly can. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.